I'm doing this one specifically on live, so I had previously talked about how these ones are like cram full of ribbon cables and a bunch of other stuff inside of them. Between SCUF and Battle Beaver, um, they both have like a ton of like different solder points and other stuff that they literally just cram inside of here. Like this controller is significantly heavier than a normal PS5 controller. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up so that we can get this repaired here. We're gonna put Hall effect sticks in them. Which are right here. Right here. Let me open my door real quick and then we'll get this started. All right. So, tools for this one: small screwdriver, tweezers to help, and something to pry open the controller, and pry the little bumpers off and stuff like that. Of course, like soldering equipment too for swapping out analogs. But if you're just disassembling the controller, then I'll show you how to do that. Wait, no, you actually need a soldering. Now that I think about it, you actually do need a soldering tool just to even disassemble these, because there's solder points for the cables, the ribbon cables and stuff like that on the inside. So I'll go ahead and show you. We'll open this up. Oh, I guess we didn't even really need this for these ones. Maybe. They just keep snapping back into place here. So this is a customized controller, obviously. Let me change the camera angle a little bit here so we can get a little bit more sync. If I angle it down a little more, that should be good. Then we'll just scoot that over. Yeah, now we can see a little more. All right. Eesh. Screws are really in there. They always have like this weird, I don't know like what happens with these screws. Like I don't know if it's kind of hard to see it right here. But the screws get like this weird like white crusty stuff on them. I have no idea what it is. But I see that quite often on some of these PS5 controllers. My controller. You have this same controller too? Or one like it? Alright, so with the screws off, we can now pop this part off. Which, these buttons, sometimes, whenever you take them apart, the buttons, like the back buttons here, will just completely like blow apart. But you could just like snap them back together, but sometimes they fall apart. And then there's this plastic piece on the inside here that we'll see in just a second. So this plastic piece here, this one's kind of wow, there's a lot of like dog hair or something in here. This one just like sits in there, right? So like whenever you go to put it back on, you have to actually like sit this upright and put the controller in this way versus the normal way, which is a lot easier of just laying the controller down and sliding this piece on, because obviously it's just gonna, well, it didn't even fall out, but Most of the time it falls out. Sometimes whenever I open these two, like these things will be snapped, usually right here or right here. But this one's in pretty good shape, so obviously you can tell this one's never been dropped before. It does have a lot of like stuff on the inside of it though, kind of dirty. Does it have mouse click triggers? This one does not, I don't believe. Hang on. Nope, this one has normal. Oh, triggers? I clicked the bumper. Yeah, it doesn't have the mouse click triggers either. I guess they kind of both come together though, so. This little board here, just like, you like push up. There's no like really good way to take this out. You just kind of like push it up and then take out one side and the other side. I guess that is the easy way to do it since I made it look so easy. But that one you can just leave attached there. And we just want to take the battery out. And then take off this ribbon here. Maybe. That's kind of hard to get out. And then this one screw right here. Now on normal controllers you can just, I do not work on iPads. I only work on select gaming items. And I don't work on all issues for all gaming items, just select ones. So this one here, you're gonna have to like keep this attached to it unless you like want to take all the buttons out and put them all back in, but it's really not. It's not worth doing that. So you just want to kind of lift it up. Maybe. Oh, I forgot these like slide out. They have like pegs in them, which I'll show you because it's like a modified version from the normal controller. But you can like see that it has these. What's it focusing on? You can see it has like these pegs right here, and those slide into a little hole in there. It's a little bit different from a normal controller, but yeah, you gotta like slide it straight up. Wow, there's a lot of hair in here. At least you know this guy pets his dog or whatever. All right, so here's some of the solder points here. So there's one here, and then of course this wire, this yellow wire is connected here. We don't have to disassemble that one though. Well, I might, because it might be easier just to lay the cables over to this side. So I might unsolder that point too. And then there's another solder point right here that's on the bottom of that analog there. So thankfully there's only 2 solder points to the actual board on this side. But we may have to unsolder that wire too, just to make this assembly a little bit easier. Cronus Zen. Are you asking if we work on them? I do not. If you're asking if this is a Cronus Zen, this is absolutely not. Yeah, there's a lot of hair in here actually. I have a feeling that that's part of the reason why I'm working on this, because usually if hair gets in some of these analogs, it causes wacky stuff to happen. Which can happen again. You'd be surprised how much stuff can get inside of these controllers. Oh, there's a lot of hair inside of this. All right, we're gonna move it over to the soldering station though, so we can continue disassembly. Yeah, the sucky thing about this is even in order to disassemble it, you have to unsolder these points. So we're gonna go ahead and move over there. All right. Hang on, let me move my vacuum hose here so it doesn't knock over my camera. All right, now we get to the fun part, which is unsoldering all of the points and trying to open this up without breaking anything, of course. And then we're just gonna have to hold this up while we do it pretty much the entire time. It might stay up. Maybe I can get it to sit under the light. There we go. And I'm just gonna put some flux on those points. And I am gonna undo that yellow wire there, just so I can push all the cables over to the side. And of course we also have the rumble motor cables there that we'll have to take off. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that yellow wire first. That way I don't accidentally burn into it. create a grounding issue with the black wire there. Alright, so now we got that yellow wire undone. Move that one out of the way, maybe. And then we can unattach the red, then the black wire there. Gotta get my fan on here, or my fume extractor. Alright, and then we still have that one point right there, which should be fairly simple. Should just be able to tap that, and it should be able to come off. Just like that. I'll just have to remember where that was too. So it's right here. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Except we won't take the yellow wire off of this side. We'll just unattach it from the motherboard right here. Alright, and then we can take the red and black wires off here. This actually looks like it was one of the, oh, it is a BDM010. I was gonna say, this looks like it was one of the first PS5 controllers to come out. Can tell because of the couple things, of course. These like rubber bumpers right here, rubber ring holes, and then the ribbon cables here. Alright, so now we got that mostly disassembled there. We just need to take out these ribbon cables. That one. This one here. Which these four that I'm taking out now are on all the controllers. So it's nothing that just a SCUF controller has. All the SCUF stuff is that stuff that's leaning over to the right over here. That one, and then we're going to throw this back over for just a second so we can pull this one off. Some of these don't like coming out. So just give it a little wiggle side to side. Maybe. Wow, that one's really not coming out. Let's see if we can get it with this. That's insane. I'm about to get whooped by this thing. On live too. No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't know why this thing's so hard to get out. Should be careful when using these. What the heck is going on? Alright, I'm just gonna take it out from this side so you guys don't have to watch me battle this entire time. Ooh, maybe not. Why is this stuck in there? Alright. This is like a fail video right now. Is it? Oh, it's kind of crooked, that's why. Yeah, that would make sense. Let's see if we can lift it up like this. Yep, there we go. Obviously that was in there sideways, so that's why it was so hard to get it off. Now we're broken free. So I'm gonna shove all that stuff, all the SCUF parts here over to the side. We're gonna pop the board out. These little tabs on the side here. One. There's two. Right. So now that we have that off, yep, there's another connected solder point right here on this side, and there's a lot of hair on here too. Definitely gonna have to get all this hair out, or else it's gonna cause continuous problems for this guy. So Get that one solder point disconnected there. I'm gonna move that hair first. I don't want that burning smell. Alright, now that we move that solder point off, we can just lift it up, held on by tape. And we have access to the board now. So, yeah, look how much stuff is inside of these controllers. These SCUF controllers, ridiculous. I don't even know how they cram all that in there. We're gonna set this over to the side for now. This is gonna be our main focus from here on out. Well, for now anyways. And we're gonna try to get all this hair off. Alright. I'm gonna try to get some of this hair off of it first before we get into it. Because there's nothing worse than the smell of burning hair. Alright, the remainder hair should just come off with the analogs there, because it usually gets stuck inside of those. I forgot to take these little rubber feet off. Gotta take those off. Or the rubber through holes here. So if I don't take those off, then they're gonna burn and it's gonna stink too. So get those taken off. We'll get it placed in our holder here. And get some flux on there so we can put our solder on each one of these points. Make it a little bit easier to take this analog off. And we gotta get it a little closer to my fume extractor here, so I don't want this flying up in the air. These 2 points right here, they bridge together, but that's not going to be a big deal, because I'm just going to take all the solder out anyways. I'm going to do the other side too, because I noticed yesterday it was a little bit faster when I did both sides before I started heating the board up. So now we have solder on all those points there. We can go ahead and start taking them off, which I'll get a little bit closer for this part so you can actually see what's happening here. So these points here are bridged, which means that the solder is connected to both of these connecting points, but that doesn't matter. It's on disassembly. Why is it all fuzzy like that? I can't stand that. It always focuses on something else, never on what I want it to focus on. It's literally right in the middle of the camera, and it won't focus on it. Maybe when I hold this up, it'll focus on this. Yeah, there we go. A little bit better. So now I'm just going to heat this up on the top side here. It should come off fairly quick since we put all our solder on there. Just like that. Just like that. Oh, didn't get it close enough. Oh, pre-fire. Alright. So now we got the solder out of all those holes there. Which I don't even know if you could see that happening, but put some flux. There is flux on it. What's wrong with this one? The SCUF controller, it's got stick drift. And he wanted Hall effects put on it. Put some flux. That's funny. Is that what the young people call rage baiting? Put some flux on it. It's a hair right there. Alright, so with this plastic stuck on here, I'm just going to heat this up even more. Let's see your setup. What's set up? Like my soldering station and stuff like that. It's just a weld lux. It's not anything crazy. I have a commercial soldering station too, and I actually prefer this weld lux over that, just because the temperatures and the speed of it work better for me. So I like working really fast. Alright, we got all that plastic crap off there, so nice smooth surface. Reapers.
Hello, I am asking how much would it be to repair 2 PlayStation 5 controllers?
What's wrong with them?
One has the stick drift and the other has an analog stick problem, where the left one is slippery and the thumbstick part slides around.
It slides around. So you have analog issues with both controllers, basically?
Yes.
Okay. So we have 2 options. We either put Hall effects or TMR analogs in. We replace both of them whenever we work on a controller. The Hall effects, as long as the controller is unmodded, so there's no modifications, it's not like a SCUF controller, that'll be or no personal modifications, then it's 55 for the Hall effects each controller. Once we do that, I don't know if you know about them, but you can basically just plug your controller up to a computer if they ever drift again, and you can just recalibrate them. And it's like a free online tool, so.
And I'm also wondering how much would it be to replace the thermal paste on an original unit Xbox One.
We don't work on those, unfortunately.
Alright. And just so you know, both of my controllers are not modded. I'm just not here to order. I'm just wondering how much it would be.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Alright.
Right. Thank you, bye.
You're welcome. Phase was cool in 2009. I didn't even know what Phase was until like 2 years ago. And the only reason I actually knew what Phase was, or the only reason I actually found out about what Phase was, is a kid I went to high school with is like one of their like members or whatever, which is pretty funny. Cause you know, like whenever you see somebody that you like knew like growing up, you like see them on the big screen or something. It's kind of funny. So. Taking out the second analog here. We just had to let the board cool a little bit. Thankfully I was on a phone call, so that kind of made time pass for me, but had to let the board cool a little bit. And I always let the board cool down for probably like a minute, 2 minutes possibly, just so that it doesn't create warping in the center of the board, because if that happens, then even if you like calibrate the new analogs and stuff like that, if you like press on your controller or squeeze your controller or something like that, it can cause the sticks to register as drifting. I have a feeling there's going to be more of a mess on the bottom side of this one, because that analog came off a little sticky. We'll see here though. Right now I'm just suctioning out the solder. Gotta tip that up a little bit. Each one of these holes. Oh, come on. That was the last one, too. Alright. Looks like each one of those are good now. Hello, Lita Jerome. Hopefully I said that right. Alright, so we got all the solder out of that one. Now we just need to do the same thing where we get the plastic off of this side. Obviously there's other ways that you can take these apart. So if you think that this is an inefficient way to do it, I just want you to know that I do everything fast. I don't do things slow. So that is why I do it this way. You can also take it apart with like a soldering iron only, or take them off with a soldering iron only. But for me, that is way too slow. I don't do that. Alright. So, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as the surface here is flat, which it is. Just want to make sure that it's flat. And it is. There's a little bit of... That one just came off, yeah. There was a little bit of buildup there. So we'll get that off. Looks like there's some solder on there. Alright. So now we just have to let this cool down a little bit before we put the Hall effects on there. A Bodia Libro. I don't know how to say that. A Bodi Alsdro. Hello. Alright, just make sure that everything's still on here, make sure to knock anything off. Yeah, so there's no capacitor here. Sometimes that gets me because I don't know why they put solder on these points here. Like right here, because that got me a couple times, not gonna lie, because I'd be working on different variants of the PS5 controller, and so sometimes I'll think that I accidentally knocked one of the capacitors off, but I didn't. Yeah, that's good. Game controller, yes, this is a PS5 SCUF controller. And they had the regular analogs in it. We're gonna put these Hall effects in. I've been running through these Hall effects like candy recently. Everyone's been coming in, getting their PlayStation 5 controllers redone. And I only do PS5 controllers. I only do stick drift replacement. And that's pretty much it. So I don't do anything else with controllers, just this. I do mod controllers occasionally. I'm probably going to do some mods in about 2 weeks. I'm probably going to do like a couple videos with mods, but like rapid fire mods and stuff like that, and like LED light kits. But for right now, I'm just doing Hall effects repairs. So this side's still a little warm, but I'm sure we can swap the board around here and start working on the other side. Yeah, this side's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some flux on the back side of this to make it easier for the install. So while the board's still warm, if you put the flux on there, it'll go into the holes a little bit, makes it a little bit easier for everything to stick. We're just gonna make sure all the pins are straight on this. Oh, you can actually see that the look at these. So we just gotta straighten those out a little bit. That way that they can go through the board there. Alright, looks like they're all pretty decent, so now we can just go ahead and pop it through. Then I'm going to solder. So there's like 4 frame solder points, which are like the bigger ones here that you can see. So like this one, this one, this one, this one. That's like the frame of the analog. So what I do is I do like a diagonal solder. The first one that I do, I hold the analog up. The second one, I hold it up on that side. The way that the analog goes on there straight, because if it goes on there sideways, whenever you calibrate it, it can kind of sit on the edge and it won't calibrate properly. So we need some solder on this first point. Don't have enough. Don't have enough solder here. There we go, get it nice and balled up. Might be too much solder on there. Boop. Yeah, I need to clean this off. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Alright. That side looks like it's pressed up in there, right? So now we're going to do the opposite side here, diagonal. I'm just going to look underneath and make sure that that went on there straight. Yeah, so you can see that the analog is straight on there. It's nice and flat. Otherwise, it would be like crooked. Let's see. Can't really get a good focus on it. But yeah, it's on there straight. So now we can go ahead and solder all the other points together and not have to worry about Just make sure that the board's kind of cleaned up around here. Each one of these points are soldered together. Alright. So that looks good there. Each one of those points have solder on them. Now we do the same thing to the other side. We'll put some flux. Around there. Make sure that all the pins are straight on here. That was all good. Plugged up nice and tight, which means that there could be some solder still in the holes. It's not a bad thing because it holds it in there, but when you go to level it, you might have to push a little harder to get it to break through some of the solder that's still stuck in there. So I can already tell you that in the middle it's kind of leaning off the board. You see that there? See how it's like off the board a little bit on this side, and on that side it's through. So we will have to press up pretty hard. That's what I was talking about, getting it flat. So we have to press up kind of hard on that. Try to get it up there. Make sure that that went on there straight. Yep. Yeah, so see, whenever you push it on there, then it goes on there straight. And that's what I was talking about. So now we don't have to worry about those points again, or leveling it. Now we can just solder all of the remaining points here. Bro, what is this? It's a PS5 controller, SCUF, and we're putting Hall effect sticks on it. I didn't clean this tip off. Alright, looks like each one of these points are soldered and connected. So we're just gonna check. Make sure those are on there straight, like that. Make sure each one of those points are soldered and there's no holes or gaps. So that looks good. So now we can start assembling all the stuff back together, which is the challenging part. The disassembly is pretty easy, but the assembly is where it gets frustrating with that ribbon cable. So normally when I do these controller repairs, I replace these analogs, but obviously since it's a modded controller, they have their own little thumbsticks, so I'm not going to replace these ones. I'm going to get this mess back in here. Here comes the fun part, right? Alright, so let me make sure that this is alright, so this is gonna go up front. This has to be turned. So that's gonna go up front. This is gonna go back here. And this point is going to solder to the bottom of the board there, so that's going to go on there like that. Okay. So now we need to solder this point back on here. which is going to go right here. And this is the part I was talking about. This is the most frustrating one to solder back on here because the ribbon cable really wants to do its own thing. So just try to hold that there as close to those holes as possible because you need those holes to be lined up. And we'll just touch that solder point down. Alright, that's connected. Well, that was a lot easier than normal. And we're just going to press down this piece of tape so that it holds back on there. Now we should just be able to throw this in here with no issues. We're just going to try to get all the wires and cables out of the way. Alright, get that over here. Just going to pull this one through. Get some of this hair out of here too. I don't want that causing problems. Alright, so that looks like everything came through how it should. I'm just gonna throw all this forward here to get it out of the way. Alright, and we need to pull up this ribbon cable back here, which likes to slide through there, and grounding point right here. Alright, so I'm going to get this one plugged in first, and then I'll plug in the ones on the sides here, because once you start putting the ribbon cable back on for the actual mod, it gets harder to put everything back together. So that one just slipped in there really easily. Remember when I was taking it out? Did not come out like that. I'll get this ribbon cable here pulled out. Just pop that over to the side. Before we get too far in here, I gotta put those little rubber through holes back on. Should just be able to slide them on. Oh, it looks like it clipped into the side a little bit already. Hang on. Alright, I'm just gonna undo this one. Undo this cable real quick so we don't break that one trying to get this on there. Alright. Grab that little foot hole thing and pop it on. Alright, we got that one popped on. Now we need to pop the one on the other side. Disassemble is easy, but again, assemble it's very hard. Yeah, I know, that's what I say. The disassembly is the easy part. Getting everything to line up when you put it back together. That's the challenging part. Especially on these controllers. Yeah, see that ribbon slipped back through again. About to pull that back up. Alright. That looks good. Slide all this over. Pull this one up. Alright, now we should be able to clip that in place, just like that. Then we can plug this one back in. It's kind of hanging out here on the side, so. There we go. Now we can put this front cable back on. This side. All right. Simple as that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the wires back on first. I gotta take my jacket off though. Sweating from working with this thing. Ugh. All right, these. Get the rumble motors set up first. The reason why we're doing that is because when we took the yellow wire off here, we had to take the yellow wire off first so we didn't burn a hole through it. So that's why I put these on first. Alright. Now we can slap all this back on. Leave that one out front there. And let this sit right on top here. We're just gonna try to somehow work this cable back on. Kind of just got to figure it out differently each time, because getting that one solder point connected there can be a challenge. First try, let's see. Okay, it looks like it's connected, but it's not through. So I'm just gonna put some pressure on it with my tweezers here. See if we can't make that fall in there. Nope. Alright, we're gonna use the tweezers from the beginning then. Try to line it up. The thing is lining up that hole with the there we go. With the pin on the analog there. So that we got that connected there. Yeah, we had to get it around the pin for the analog, so that one's connected. Now we need to do the same thing with this one, which is connect it here. Right there. We got a connection point. How much technology is there in such a small gadget? Yeah, I know. That's why, like, versus the normal controllers, I charge a little bit more on these ones. Just because it's like, well, for one, it's a lot more work, but just a little bit more challenging. So, but yeah, they definitely try to shove as much stuff as they can inside of these, which can be a real hassle, especially when it falls constantly like this. Oh, so this is what I'm talking about. Alright, let's see if we can hold this up. See if we can slide it into the light or something. Get it to stay still. Okay, that's where it needs to solder. Hopefully I don't burn my finger. Alright, that worked out. Wow. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'm just going to add some pressure here. Just push down. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put the yellow wire on here. Alright. So hopefully, yeah. Alright, that looks pretty good. So we got the challenging part out of the way. Now we can slide these back together. So those little pins that I was talking about on the side here, let's just slide in there. super simple. Make sure all the solder points, yeah, okay. All the solder points are good, just have to double check. And then I'm gonna slide this through here. Actually, let me check that real quick. That's kind of sitting awkward. Oh, that's why. Twisted it up a little bit. All right, there we go. Now we can reassemble it. All right. Should be as easy as plugging everything back together now. Make sure all these buttons are connected here. Yeah. I'll put the first screw in. Alright. I'm going to put this little ribbon cable back in here. Maybe we'll put it back in. Maybe we'll struggle with it. Yeah, let me get my tweezers. Try to shove that in there with those. It's gotta go straight in, that's the trick. If it doesn't go straight in, it won't slide in. There we go. Alright. Wow, that was a lot more challenging than it should have been. Alright. Those are good. Make sure there's no more hairs in here. Looks like they're all out besides a few. No, it looks like that's good. Alright, now we can put the battery back in. Alright. And then putting this on before was like a real challenge for me. Why is it so blurry? I didn't realize it was so blurry. Hopefully it hasn't been blurry like that this whole time. For one, this turning on like that means that it's good. I obviously just accidentally bumped a button, but getting this on at an angle is the best way I have found to put this on here. So you have to like push down, but then you don't want to break anything off. It's like there you go. Just like that. So everything should be held together now. I'm just going to, we'll leave that there for a second. Now we need to put this back in, and I just need to clean this out real quick because it's got all that hair in there. All right. So, got all the hair out. So now, shouldn't cause any problems. Oh, there's a hair on this. Jeez. I mean, it's a good thing that I see hair in here, right? Because I mean, he pets his pet, but. All right. So this is gonna be a little tricky. This is always a little tricky because these buttons back here, and then you have to get this aligned too. So you gotta find the angle first of all. It's like an angle where you like angle it down like this. You should be able to like push it back into on. And just go around front to back. Just kind of push everything together. There's no way I did that first time. Yep, all the buttons are pressing. No way. No way. Man, that worked out great. Huh. Alright, so now we can just put the screws on here. I can't believe that clicked on the first time. Normally it takes me like 2 or 3 tries before everything lines up. Imagine if I dropped the screw inside the controller right now. I'd have to reopen the whole thing. This must have been the screw from the other side. Don't jinx myself. Yeah, I know, right? Alright, just make sure that everything is moving how it should be. Everything's clicking down and everything. Yep, turning on. Okay. Everything's good with that. We'll just slide this piece back on. We'll put the buttons back on here. Some hair on this one. Actually, there's a lot. What the heck? Yeah, I gotta get all that off real quick. Look how much hair is on here. Look at that. It's insane. Definitely have to take all that hair off though, because if not, then it'll just get back in the controller and cause more of a mess. So there we go. That's a SCUF controller. You saw the mess that was inside. So we put new analogs on there, put some Hall effects. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing hooked up to the computer and get it calibrated. So, but I'm not gonna show that on video because I have tons of videos where I've been live and I show you how to calibrate them. So. But just wanted to get this one up there so you could see SCUF controllers. You can see inside the SCUF controllers and how frustrating they could be to work on. So it's about an hour long here, this video, and that makes sense because there's a lot more to do inside of these controllers versus a normal controller. Normal controllers are about 30 to 45 minutes. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. That's my SCUF Hall effect install. We'll see you around next time.